Hey, welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
If you're gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small.
Why, hey there, my amazing listener. Welcome, and thank you for joining in for another episode of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. This is episode 291, and I appreciate you lending me your ears today. I know you have lots of choices of things to do right now, and I appreciate you tuning in to this podcast episode. Now, if you've been following along, you will know that the theme for April is all around business basics, the basics things that you need to know in business to be successful, to grow, to reach those goals that you have in your business. Now, even if you've been in business for a while, don't be fooled, because sometimes coming back to the basics is exactly where you need to be in order to move forward. So that's what we're talking about for all of April. Now, today I'm talking about, I'm sharing with you some of the best business, let me get that right, best business advice from your peers. So basically, I saw a Facebook post. It had that had the question, "What was the best business advice you've got?" Lots of people responded, and so now I'm sharing those answers with you because I thought they were just so powerful. And of course, everything is content is something that you will learn in my world as well. But before we get into today's episode, I just wanted to say or ask, how can I help you in business? I have lots of different offerings that potentially I can help you in your business. So whether you're after an hour of power, so a whole hour where you get to pick my brain for any answers that you've got, any answers that you have to questions that you have. Maybe you need some accountability. Maybe you need someone to help you refocus. Or maybe you're after some one-to-one coaching, because that's something I also do. That one-to-one monthly coaching to keep you on track, get a strategy, keep you accountable, help you move your business forward, etc., etc. Or maybe you just need a keen marketing eye, and I have too, to look over your website, to look over your socials, to look over your email marketing strategy, and basically do an audit on the marketing that you're doing right now that perhaps isn't getting you the results that you want. Or maybe you just feel a little bit stale. You're kind of like, well, I've been doing the same thing over and over for a while. What could I be doing differently? And so, ask for an audit. I could help with that. Of course, I also have my 9-week marketing transformation program and my book, Small Town Big Impact. So lots of different ways that I can help you in business. All of them are available on my website at socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Otherwise, if you think that I could help you move your business forward, get you out of the slump that you may think you're in at the moment, or get you some accountability so you do what it is that you say you're going to do, then reach out. I'd love to have a bit of a chat with you. And I'd love to have a chat with you because I know you're an action taker. I love to work with action takers, and I know you're an action taker because you listen to a marketing podcast. All right. So let me know if I can help you. But otherwise, let's move on to today's episode. And as I mentioned, April is all about business basics. And today I'm going to share with you some answers to the Facebook post that I mentioned earlier. And the question that was on the Facebook post was, what was the best advice you've been given in business to help you grow? Now, like I said, this wasn't my post, but given we're talking business basics, I thought sharing the episode would make a fabulous podcast. And I really love that they have asked the question of what's the best business advice you've been given in business to help you grow. I really love that end bit, to help you grow. There's every chance it was asked by a marketer, but I didn't actually know the person who asked it. But of course, I am going to share with you some of the answers. So what do people say? So let's go. Let's go through some of the answers. So the first answer was, treat your business like an actual business, not like a hobby. Now, I really love this one. It was so simple and yet so often missed, as the poster wrote. Whether your business is a side hustle, a full time hustle, a part time hustle, treat it like it's a business. I thought this was brilliant advice and something, maybe you need to sit back and go, am I actually treating my business like a business, or am I treating it like a sometimes activity, like a hobby? Great business advice. The second one was hire a mentor or a coach. Now, when I say second one, that's the second one on my list. But look, this was definitely a theme. There was the same answer, maybe using slightly different words over and over again on this post. And I thought that's so interesting that people are like, hire a mentor, hire a coach. I've always had a coach and a mentor in business for myself. It's really how I've got as far as I've got. Don't get me wrong, all the hard work was definitely mine, but without a mentor or a coach, I know I would have strayed off path. I know I need to be held accountable to move in my business. It is part of my personality, and I also know that I wouldn't have got as quickly here as what I wouldn't have without a mentor or a coach. This is probably one of the most important pieces of advice I had as a small business owner. And I think it is very fitting that this was actually a theme for the answer to this question was, hire a mentor or a coach. So my question to you is, do you have a mentor? Do you have a coach in your business? The next one was invest in yourself, and it was probably the next most common answer. And it kind of relates to, again, having a mentor or a coach, because having a mentor or a coach is an investment in yourself. But it's also in other investments, such as investing in your craft, your speciality, your expertise, investing in the tech that makes your life easier or simpler, investing in conferences to go and network with like-minded people, or learn from your peers, or learn something completely new in business, or invest in things like retreats so you can have some downtime as a small business owner. This was my definite second favorite response. And I must say, over the years, like, I've been in business for myself for probably, I don't know, 15 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. And I would say I've spent well over $250,000 investing in myself, investing in my knowledge, and investing in my business. And again, it's how I've got here. It's how I've got to have the business that I have today. And it's not done yet. I need to invest another $250,000 over the next 15 years. And keep learning in my business to keep being the person that I want to be in business for my clients. Now, the next answer came from my fellow rural mentor friend, Amy Tracy. Shout out to Amy. I know she is a podcast listener, and she wrote, get the basics right first to build a strong foundation. And then went on to say that most businesses fail in the first 2 to 3 years because the foundations aren't strong. And the work wasn't done. This is great business advice. My amazing business friend, definitely great advice. Get the foundations right. Get the business basics right. One of the things I talk about in my keynotes is, 4 out of 5 small businesses fail in the first 5 years. That's the statistic that we're told. But the reality is they don't actually fail. They burn out. And they burn out because they can't get the right customers at the right time to keep coming back over and over again to make business being worth it. So they shut the business down and go and get a job. It's easier because they're not doing the marketing. They're not doing the work. They're not getting the foundations right. So Miss Amy or Mrs. Amy, totally agree. Love that I can share your response on the podcast as well. I hope that's okay. I didn't ask your permission, but I'm sure it'll be okay. The next one was know your target market. Now, go back and listen to last week's episode if you need any tips or tricks on this one. Definitely know your target market. Who is your who? Where do they hang out? Those, again, are a little bit like the foundations that Amy was talking about in her answer. The next answer I found really quite interesting because it's not something I have a lot of experience in. And it was find staff and then open. So I guess this was for startups. If you've got a startup business, go and find the staff and then open your business, because staff are really hard to find these days. I don't have staff in my business. I have virtual assistants, but I don't have staff. But I certainly see many businesses in my rural and regional area either closing early or not even opening on particular days, with signs on the door that say, due to lack of staff, we're not open today. I'd love to know, if you have staff, what your experience is with this, whether you're rural, regional or metro. I'd be really interested to have a conversation with you around staff and how you are finding staff these days, or keeping staff, of course, is the next thing as well. So someone mentioned in this post something about golden handcuffs. How can you create the golden handcuffs so your staff don't want to leave? Again, a really interesting concept, but yeah, find staff and then open. The next answer was delegate, delegate, delegate. Now, this is something that I've had to learn over the years. The delegation is a good thing. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, overrun, what can you delegate in your business? And also, what can you delegate so you can work on your business rather than in your business all the time? The next answer was, don't let your business run you, you run the business. I had a bit of a chuckle when I read this one, because it reminded me, as a new parent 25 years ago, someone saying, don't let the baby run the household, you are in charge of the household. And that was probably the worst advice I was given as a new parent, because it's so not true. But anyway, don't let the business run you, you run the business. And again, this comes down to delegation. This comes down to investing in yourself. This comes down into your systems and processes. This comes down to you realizing that you have to work on the business, not in the business all the time. And also the ramifications of letting the business run you. Now, I have one of my very, very best friends, one of my oldest best friends, who runs a really important business to our small town. But her business has always run her. We've been best friends for 25 years, and for 25 years, she's struggled to find time to do anything but be in the business, doing the doing. And it's really hard to watch. It's really hard to watch. So don't let the business run you. You actually run the business. The next answer that I loved was, put your efforts into growing your email list. It will convert the highest, and it does. Now, I didn't write that. But the person was definitely talking my love language here. I don't know one person that I've worked with in the last 15 to 20 years that has said, oh, I wish I started my email list later in my business. Never. It's always, I wish I had started it earlier. So I love that answer. The next answer, so there's like 5 more. I promise I won't keep you too much longer. Be careful who you listen to. And I thought this one was pretty powerful. I often talk about being aware of who you're letting into your ears. There are so many people out there giving business advice. And sometimes I even have clients come to me and, they'll say, so they've employed me as a marketing mentor or a marketing coach. And then they'll talk about this business coach that they've got and that business coach that they've got. And I say to them, you've got way too many people in your ears. You are overwhelmed. You don't know which way to go. You are directionless, because you have way too many people telling you what to do, and there are conflicting ideas in there and conflicting things, conflicting priorities, probably the word I'm looking for. I have one of my favorite sayings, and it is, don't let those in the cheap seats have an expensive opinion. So sometimes that is, if you're taking advice from someone who's not in business, who's never been in business, so they have a cheap seat because they're not putting their money on the line, they're not putting their life on the line, having a really expensive opinion about what it is that you do. So don't let that happen. The next answer was probably, this was the only time someone wrote this out of all the answers. And I was really, I guess when I thought about it, I was really concerned that this wasn't a theme, that not more people were talking about this. But it was basically, the answer was understand your financials. understand the financial stuff. It's so important to know our numbers. And more people should be talking about small business owners and understanding their financials. Now, you won't be surprised to know that given we are theming this year's podcast, that June is going to be all about knowing your numbers and financial stuff. So make sure you tune in June. But otherwise, ring your accountant, ring your bookkeeper, watch some YouTube videos, whatever it takes for you to understand more about the financials of your business. 3 more to go. This one is be the change, make space for self-care. You can't help anyone else until you have your own oxygen mask on. So I thought this was really quite powerful. We all know that when we're flying, they tell us the oxygen mask comes down. If there's trouble, put it on first before you help anyone else. And I think, again, your clients, your customers could be really important to yourself and obviously to your business. But if you're not taking care of yourself, then you aren't much help to them either. So, and I also like the start of this, be the change. I often talk about be the change you want to see in the world because, that's how you create change, is being the change. The second last one was you must know how to sell. Absolutely. Marketing will only get you so far. And then you need to know how to close the deal. You need to know how to sell the product that you are trying to sell. Now, if you're listening to this podcast live or when it's released, which is around the 11th of April, I think it'll be released. I actually have a LinkedIn Live scheduled on Thursday, the 18th of April at 12 o'clock, live on LinkedIn, like I said, with Frances Pratt. Now, Frances is as passionate about sales as I am about marketing, and we are going head to head on this LinkedIn under the heading of more sales, less marketing. Like, could there be a worse title in the world? Less marketing really is like, oh my God, stab my heart. But anyway, it'll be a great conversation with Frances. So if you get a chance, tune in to that LinkedIn Live Thursday, the 18th at 12 o'clock. Otherwise, it'll live on our LinkedIn profiles if you're listening past that date, of course, as well. And the very last one that I'll mention to you before I wrap up today is the person who wrote on this Facebook post, just because you have a great idea doesn't mean you have an audience that will buy that great idea. Test the market before you launch. Make sure you have people who are willing to buy what it is that you sell and you really understand what you are selling. So powerful, yeah? Just because we have this great idea and we think it is going to be like the best thing since sliced bread, you need to test the market. You need to work out, are there people who are willing to buy it? And are there people willing to buy it for the price that you need to sell it? I found this in retail all the time, that we would come across a product that I thought would sell really, really well, but the price point just was too much. I was just like, I don't think we can sell it for that price point. I love the product, but our audience isn't the right audience for it. So we already had our community. We already had our audience. We already had our ICA people. I didn't think that it wouldn't sell. It just wasn't for us. So you've really got to understand that. And of course, the last part of that was understand what you're really selling. And that is probably one of the most powerful things to think about. We often get caught up thinking we're selling X when we're really selling Y. I can give you a couple of examples of what I mean about that. So at Christmas time, I often talk to retailers about the fact that they're not selling things at Christmas. The thing that they are selling at Christmas is time. If you do it right, you are selling people the gift of time. And if you can sell someone the gift of time, you will create a loyal customer. So why time? What do I mean by that? Well, everyone is just so freaking busy at Christmas time. And there's also a billion trillion marketing messages out there going, buy me, buy me, buy me. So if you can make it so easy for your customer to buy the perfect gift and save them time, and potentially that might be send it to them express post, or wrap it. If you're a bricks and mortar store, you'll wrap it for them, or you'll deliver it to their house, or deliver it to their business, or whatever that. If you can create the illusion that you are selling, that you are saving them time, again, that is what you're selling at Christmas time. And that, my dear friend, is how you create a loyal customer. And another example is maybe my business. I'm not selling coaching. I'm selling my marketing brain. I'm selling you everything I know about marketing and all the assets I've created for marketing. That is why people come to me. I need a marketing strategy for my email marketing. Beautiful. We need a welcome sequence. Perfect. Here is 11 examples of different welcome sequences. Have a look at these, read these, and create your own out of that. Like, that's what I'm selling. I'm selling my marketing brain. I am selling access to one of the best marketing brains in the country. I'm sorry if that sounds a little bit stuck up, but it's true. I am one of the best marketers in this country, and that is what I'm selling. You are actually buying some Jen time. You're not buying marketing. But that is it, my dear friend, for the answers to that question. So if I asked you what the question was, or what your answer would be, what's the best business advice that you've been given to help you grow? What would your answer be? Would it be one of the ones I've already spoken about, or something completely different? I'd love to know. Send me an email, send me a DM. Talk to me in Like-Minded Business Owners, the Facebook group, my community, and let me know. Or similarly, let me know, what was your biggest takeaway from today's chat? What was your aha moment of all the answers that were there? My dear friend, that is it for episode 291. If you loved this podcast and found it valuable, I would love for you to leave a rating and a review if that's possible where you are listening, such as Apple Podcasts, or even better, or as well, I would love you to share this with a business friend who might like to listen. So you might share this episode with them via email or on your socials. I would really appreciate you helping me spread the word of this great podcast. If you're not part of my community in Like-Minded Business Owners, the Facebook group, come and join there. Otherwise, I'll see you next week for episode 292 and some more business basics. If we aren't friends on social, please come and find me.
Tell like you feel it, say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you
everywhere,
are.
but I don't know.
No point in dreaming
I'm on there as Jen
small.
Donovan, just about everywhere. Come and find me. But whatever you
I would
do,
like to acknowledge
remember my
the
small
traditional
business people.
custodians
As
of the
my opening
land,
song
the
says,
Yorta
there
Yorta
is
people,
no point
on which
in
I
dreaming
record
small.
this podcast and conduct my business today, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I extend this respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here with us today as well.